Welcome to hashtag 52 Needs, and today we are exploring effectiveness. And I'm absolutely delighted and honored to have with me Phil Abernathy, who is a global leader helping organizations transform to a new agile, obviously with a capital A way of working that helps them get more productive and their people more engaged. He has had over 38 years of business and leadership experience and is a world-renowned trainer, coach, and consultant who has helped train and transform global companies like IBM, Honeywell, and Shell. Phil is the founder and director of Purple Candor, a boutique leadership and management consulting company. Welcome, Phil.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you.
Okay, so effectiveness in life. What does that mean?
Yeah. Well, I'm happy you asked me to do this talk because it made me actually think again. And that's one of the key things that I wanted to mention right from the start. It's not something you do on day 1 or day 10, and that's it. And you're now effective forever. It's something you have to constantly revisit. You have to sharpen the saw, as the old saying goes. You have to keep polishing it up. And it made me think. So when I thought about effectiveness, for me, the most important definition is, what does effective mean to you? So it's the why. It's what do you mean by effective? Are you in life? Yeah. So is it that you're successful? And then what's the definition of success? Is it that you've got X million dollars, or is it that you've got the big house or the car or the tick, 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 tick? So I think effectiveness in life is more a question of purpose. And as you know, the finding of that purpose is the biggest challenge we all face in our lives. In fact, the journey of life is a set of experiences, in my humble opinion, that is about finding that purpose. So I'm not even sure there's an end, like I've reached my purpose. And now that's good. Everything's done. Whew, I can now go and do something that's not fitting my purpose. And the purpose goal keeps moving because it's a constant. It's a constant change. It's something that you have to revisit. My purpose, to give you a little example, when I was in my 30s and 40s, was completely different to what it is now. For me, there was a friend of mine once gave me a good example of the 3 kind of phases of your adult life. It says, the first 10 years is about learning. So, from your 18 to 28, 30, let's say it's about learning. The next 10 years is about achieving. And your purpose is changed. Now you want to be the boss, you want to be the manager, you want to earn this, you want to earn that. And 10 is, it's flexible. And the last 30%, if you want to call it, is about giving back. And that's what we're here doing together.
Right. So basically, the effectiveness changes as you go through those different phases, because your effectiveness as you're learning is very different to the effectiveness that you have when you're giving back, right?
No, no. What I meant is that the purpose changes. Now you have to find out how to be effective at that purpose.
That's what I mean. It's the ability to say, okay, my purpose is this.
Yes.
How am I going to be effective in achieving this purpose?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
And that's different when you're learning as opposed to sharing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, for me to achieve that effectiveness, whatever that effectiveness definition is for you at that moment in your life, it's first about knowing that purpose, because without purpose, and we'll see that even in the work front, you can't be effective. You can't be effective if you don't have a goal. And I don't mean as a goal and in an end goal. A lot of people, I went through a difficult time when I was in my 35 to 40 area, where I went through some trainings and leadership courses, and everybody told me I have to set goals, like firm goals. I'm not a goal setter like that. I'm not. I have meaning markers in my life. So I place meaning markers of what's important for me in my life. And this I learned from another guru of mine. And I've learned to realize that these are the 4 things or 5 things that are important to me.
Mm-hmm.
They are my meaning markers. They would give me meaning. They would give me purpose. Now, those have changed over the years, as I said. And rather than put a value to them, I put them as markers on the road of life, somewhere there. So I'm going towards that direction. And now every micro decision I take in my life, I validate against those markers. So, for example, I'm with a friend out just last week in Bratislava, actually, and we were having a drink, and they mentioned an opportunity. It was a fantastic opportunity, yeah, and it was leading one of the biggest transformations in Europe. And yeah, I had to sort of move to Holland for a little longer than I wanted. And it was away from my meaning marker. I really wanted to do it. I wanted to get that engagement, which was being offered, and said, but you have to come here 50% at least of your time to Holland, because even with COVID and everything, we're still, it's all opening out now. I'm vaccinated, they're vaccinated, so let's go. And I chose not to do it because it was not aligned with my meaning marker of what I have in my life now. So those micro decisions that we take, and this is about effectiveness, it's about making that micro decision, and that could be good or bad. So, for example, in Bratislava, the driving tolerance is 0. So the liquor tolerance, yeah. So you're not allowed to have a sip of alcohol, which is fantastic. Okay. It's not 0.05 or 0.01, nothing. And that micro decision, should I just have this sip? It's just 1 kilometer. My house is just 1 kilometer away. Let's just have this, and there'll be no cops around. You have the sip. And they're there waiting outside. What happens? Yeah. So those are the micro decisions that you have to focus on to be effective with your meaning markers. Okay. And they come, we have 10 or 20 of them every single day, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So, does that make sense, Angela?
Absolutely. So what I'm hearing is what you need in order to be really effective, you need to know what you want to do, your goal, but you also need to have the determination and the persistence and the follow through to be able to do it, to be able to say, this doesn't mean much to me, so I'm going to put that aside. I'm going to focus on what really matters. And that's going to exponentially increase your effectiveness, right?
Exactly. And the other point I was making there was that, the goal doesn't have to be concrete. Most of the people I have worked with, they don't have goals that are fixed. Like, I want to make 100,000. I want to be the best, let's say, coach in the world. I want to be the... No, they're like, I want to be great at this. Yes. Yeah. So even if your goal is not specific, it's directional.
It's being your best.
That's right. It's about being your best. And I like the way you put it, about making those hard decisions and having determination to actually make the micro decision to follow that purpose.
Yeah. Which the is other thing. Sorry, go
ahead.
No, I was going to say, which is the antidote to procrastination, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And, it kind of, I'll come also to my take on the procrastination bit a little bit, because given COVID, that has been, on my mind a lot in terms of, we're going through a phase of, I saw a great TED talk yesterday, which calls this phase where you just languish.
Yes.
They call it languishing. Yes. You just you watch a little video, you watch TED talks, you watch, play a game. Before you know it, 5 hours is gone, or 3 hours is gone. Yeah. Is it a waste? I don't know, but you don't feel that you've been effective. Yeah. I have that feeling. Yeah. And Corona has made it worse, that I feel that I'm languishing and I have to pull myself back. So there is something that I use that I learned many years ago. And the first thing there is that it is about balance. Effectiveness is about balance. So if you pull to any particular side, you're going to suffer. So how do you balance? What's the balance concept? The balance concept that works for me, that I found very precious, and I revisit almost every month just for about 15 minutes, is the persona-based balance. So I am a parent, I'm a partner, I'm a worker, so I work in a company, I have a company, and then I'm a sibling, I'm XYZ. I have all these personas. And of course, we forget the one most important persona, always. I'm an individual.
Yeah.
So I got to put that persona first.
Yeah.
Okay. Then for that persona, you have to literally plan your month. Yeah. So how much of time am I giving to Philip?
Yes.
How much of time? Yeah. So what is it? Mental, emotional, or spiritual, and physical. I need to spend time on all three of them.
Absolutely.
Okay, how much? Okay, yeah, roughly. Okay, fit that in. Then what about as a parent? Okay, I have to make some time for my kids. What about as a partner? And roughly balance that out, because if you don't balance, you cannot be effective in life.
Yeah.
You may be effective for a short period of time at one of those things that you put in 110%. So I've got a friend who's a marathon runner. He's actually a triathlon guy, and he trains like 8-9 hours a day. He works 8 hours a day, 9 hours a day. He won the triathlon. He's effective in life.
Yeah.
Lost his family because the partner drifted away.
Yeah.
The children drifted away. And it happens because if you focus so much without balance, you may tick one box as effective, but you don't. And we're all multifaceted. So that's the first thing. The second thing that is vital to me is the fact that I put in the big rocks first. If you look at the old story of the jar, if you put your sand in first and fill it up, there's no place for your big rocks.
Yeah.
The sand is all those small little things that we have to do, my to-do list, I've got a book here. You'll see this. I'm sure it's full of stuff every day. Every day. Are these the big rocks? No, they're not the big rocks. They're all the sand. So if I haven't made time for the big rocks, it's finished. And the clue that this guru taught me at that time was, put your big rocks in your calendar, in your agenda. We never do that. We have meetings in our agenda, and we have to-dos written on pieces of paper, sticky notes, or even in the phone. So that one little practice for me is working out the big rocks based on my personas. So as an individual, what's my big rocks? As a parent, and then fill them in my agenda, and then put the sand in and do the to-dos. Now, I think it makes me effective, more effective, but I'm not sure it makes me more happy. And I think that's the topic of another thing.
Yeah. Okay. The thing is, if I fill my jar with sand first with all the tasks, well, I don't know if it leads to happiness, but it definitely leads to one thing that I think we all suffer from at the moment, specifically if we're not languishing. And I talk to people, they're all busy. I mean, it's like
very busy.
Okay, we have more opportunities to fill our lives with things that mean nothing, and keep us busy. Again, it is no purpose, no effectiveness, and we can do them much faster than we've ever been able to do. I mean, I remember there was a study done that was in the 80s when, we had the huge brick telephones,
Yes.
God, and I remember going, oh my God, seriously, do we need those? And so there was a study done that said that 100 years before, people were doing in a year what we were doing now in a month's time. Now, this is 40 years ago. Now, that is, 30 something years.
Multiply that.
This is before email. This is before internet. This is before all of these, 24/7 availability. We deliver overnight. I know
so
that
the world has changed.
I received a parcel from DHL on a Sunday the other day, where when you deliver on a Sunday, everything is just supposedly really effective, but it really is all about, we can do things much faster. But again, is that what's great happiness for us?
That's right.
Or is it just because I can be effective for effectiveness sake?
Yes.
Just
And I
because.
think that's where the big rocks come in, that happiness has to be your biggest rock. And then if you do whatever makes you happy, then by default, you're effective.
Yes.
Yeah, because
Great.
happiness is your goal and your purpose. So just two other small points in the interest of time, Angela. The first one for me that's important is that there will always be the to-do list. They're endless. You'll never finish it. You have to take time to smell the roses.
Yeah.
And that's just on the road of life, take time to smell the roses. And the last one is be gentle on yourself. Now, I gave you this nice theory and you would think that, hey, Phil is very effective. My God, every day I mess it up. Every day I start languishing instead of finishing my big rock or doing something here. So it's very hard. So be gentle, love yourself, and
Absolutely.
yeah, that's where you go.
Let me put it this way. We are not human doings, we're human beings, right?
I love that saying. I love that saying. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we forget that. It's all about getting things done. And, you know, again, I mean, let me put it this way. That was a perfect example right now. In the interest of time, let me make the last 2 points.
Yeah.
You know, we're just going into, we're aware of time, we're just moving forward, and it's all about, again, higher, faster, onward and upward.
Yeah.
And that's not what we're designed for, you know. I mean, I go back to the Neanderthal who used to work in a 7-day week, used to work 2 days in order to get their basic needs met.
Yeah. Yeah, and now we have some, and I'm sure many of them will be fast forwarding through this video or podcast.
Yeah,
because it's time.
Yes.
But thank you, Angela. That was very, very helpful for me to be able to think about it again. And I have to go and do my big rock list in a little while.
And I will do exactly the same. Thank you very much. That was a very, very good reminder. Yeah. So thank you, Phil. Thank you for your wisdom, and thank you everybody for joining us. And I'll see you next week.
Thank you.